Hello again. So this is take two of Monday the 28th. I don't quite know what happened there because everything is absolutely fine on my phone, and until I look on my laptop, on my MacBook, um oh, and it yes, I don't quite know what's happened. So it looks like I'm actually live. Yes, looks like I'm the right way round now. Is there anybody there, and what can you see? I know there's some of you there. So I can actually see all of it now on my laptop. So I don't quite know what happened there because I've done exactly the same thing the second time round. So if you can see me, please tell me. That's better. Thank you, Caroline. Thank you. And good evening. Or just pretend that bit didn't happen because, I've deleted it now anyway. So please don't tell the boss. She was looking. Yeah, she says, "Oh, goodness me, I have a couple of days off," and then she causes mayhem. So, but we're fine now. We're all right. Hi, Lynn, again, and hello to Karen and Joyce. Perfect now. Brilliant. That's okay. So we're in. So what I was saying was that we've had a few more challenging mims. We did Misty, that was quite big, quite a lot, wasn't it? And a few different bits. You can see all of me, Diane. Well, that's a bit of a shame. I'm not sure that's a good thing. But you're gonna have to put up with it now because we've sorted it now. So it might have been better half of me chopped off. Hi, Denise. What we're doing tonight is a very simple, easy one. This is Sparkle. So Sparkle is a very simple purse. She's got two pockets in. You can't very well see in there, can you? But the light is shining a little bit, so you can see that there are two pockets. Tonight I'm doing it in very sparkly fabric. So hi, Shirley. So yes, that's what we're doing tonight, and it's going to take us no time at all. I've already cut out my bits and pieces, but if you haven't cut out your bits and pieces and you want to sew along, you've got lots of time to do that. So don't worry about that at all. We've got over 120 of us, so I'm going to make a start. Hi, Rosina. It was lovely to see you the other day, Rosina. So I met Rosina at the craft fair that I did on Saturday down just outside Barnstaple. So she popped up to see me, and yeah, we had a lovely chat, and we had a photo. So it was lovely to see her. So and just while I'm here, I was chatting with a friend today, and she's got a very beautiful daughter called Jenny. And some of you will know Denise, from the Gold Group. So I'm hoping that they're watching tonight, because we were talking about Jenny, and Jenny's not much of a sewer. To be honest, she doesn't sew, but she loves to watch the Making It Monday on a Monday night, and she's very loyal to us as a group, which is really lovely, isn't it? To think that people, hi Marion, all the way down in South Africa, I think, aren't you, Marion? So hi to Jenny, because she always waves at the screen and she puts me on the big telly, and Lizzy, of course. Hi to Jenny, and her mum. Jenny, your mum will get you sewing. If she doesn't, I will. So without further ado, let's tilt the camera down. I don't quite know what happened there, but we will. I'm back anyway, but we'll tilt the camera down and we'll have a closer look at Sparkle, and we'll have a look to see what we're doing. So, and I'll hopefully be able to pick up your comments on the side there, but the admin girls are in as well, so if you've got any questions, do ask them. We've got a couple of little bits actually that we're going to talk about at the end. So yeah, here we go then. Here we go. I know you'll tell me if you're a bit skewer. I'll know you'll tell me if it's a bad picture, but it looks on my little bit that it's okay. So here's Sparkle. Here's the pattern. These are my bits and pieces for today. So you will notice on the pattern that you do have a template. I needn't have done that. I could have asked you to shape it yourself, but I thought, well, let's make it very easy for you, and then you'll be able to sew along. So I'm hoping that there are one or two of you that might be sewing along. Oh, Jenny says hi. Hi, Jenny. Hi, Jenny. So yeah, it's lovely of Jenny to watch and follow us like that. She's a great one. She's fabulous. So I've cut out my bits and pieces. This is my template. Yours will have writing on. Mine didn't when I cut it out, but it's exactly the same as yours. And then I've got my two, so this is my lining, and this is, I don't know whether you can see it there, but it's a lovely, can you see in the light there? It really shines, and it's a lovely, it's not exactly sparkly, but it's very shiny fabric. Yeah, you can see that, can't you? And then we have this beautiful sparkle. So that's really nice. And what this is going to be my outside, and I have interfaced the outside, but it really, really doesn't matter if you actually put your interfacing or your stabilizer, whatever you want to call it, on the back of the lining or the outside. It's so small that it really doesn't matter, so you can see it probably a bit clearer now. I've got my poppers ready. The second lot that I've got out because the others went all over the floor and I lost two of them, so they're still down there somewhere. There's one pocket and there's the smaller pocket. So, as I say, very, very simple to do. So, what we're going to do first, as I said, cut out your pieces, and obviously all the measurements and everything are in the pattern. So if you haven't downloaded the pattern, do that after the live, and then you can always play this back and watch it. So download your pattern. So we've stabilized our outer piece, and what we need to do, or what you need to do, because I've done mine, but I'll do it again, is to just fold the pockets. So one of them is a square, this one is a square, so it really doesn't matter which way you fold it, obviously. And we're just going to press those. So I'll bring that in a little bit so you can see. I've just folded it in half, so that's wrong sides together, and we've just folded the smaller pocket in half. The bigger pocket is a rectangle. It doesn't look very rectangular here, but it definitely is. So you want the short ends. These are the long ends, and you want the short ends. So again, wrong sides together and fold the short ends together, and they're just going in half. So that's that bit. Easy. We're going to put these other little bits away for a minute, because what we're going to do with these is top stitch down these folded edges on both of them. So I'm going to bring the machine in. So Gillian says, lovely little purse. It is quite sweet, isn't it? And you know, this could be for an adult or a child, especially if they've got a note in it. Child would absolutely love it. So, or at least my grandchildren would. They know the value of notes. They don't get them very often. So, okay, so I'm going to do this probably about between 1/4 and 1/8 of an inch. We're going to top stitch all the way round this later on, so it doesn't matter. I think I've done these 1/8 of an inch inside, but it really doesn't matter because we haven't got to catch any edges because they are folded. So this is purely to make it look nice. So I'm going to put my stitch length up to 3 and bring that a little bit further in. Sorry, I've just disturbed everything there. Bring that a little bit further in so you can see it. I'm hoping that that's okay. I've actually put some tape over the lights as was advised, and I think it's got less glare on my machine now, so I'm hoping so. I'm hoping it's got less glare for you. Okay, so I'm just going to whiz along those. Make sure you're doing it the folded side. And I've just chain pieced that because it's easy. And then that doesn't take any time at all. Now we're going to be coming back to the machine very soon, but I will put it out of the way for a minute so you can see my desk. And see my dirty desk, actually. I do need to give this a scrub. I've wiped it over, but it needs a scrub. So you can't see because I've actually got purple thread in. I've changed my thread. How exciting is that? So just cut off your little threads there. Trim it down, make it neat. I'm going to I'm going to bring even the little iron in again, and I'm just going to give that a little press and bed those stitches down. So we have the perfect fold there now to make our pockets. So the pockets are actually self-lined. And you will think to yourself, why are you putting the same pockets on as you've got? But you will see in a moment that that won't be the case. This is not the lining, this is the outside. So whatever piece you want to be outside, that's the piece you're going to put the pockets on. So if I wanted this outside, I'd put the pockets on there. Stick with me, I promise it'll work out. Well, I promise it'll work out. If you saw me last Thursday, nothing worked out, but we got there in the end, so it doesn't matter. And you know, in the end, if you choose two lovely fabrics like I've got, and you don't mind, it doesn't matter which is on the outside and which isn't. But tonight I'm going to put this one on the outside. So first of all, I want the small pocket. So you can see the difference in sizes here. It's just difference in height, if you like. All right, but I want the small pocket, and I'm going to line that up with what will be the bottom. I'm doing it upside down. So this is the top, and I'm going to line that up with the bottom seams. Yes, it does make a lovely purse for a card. So when I go out, sometimes I have to take everything with me, and so I use a bag. I popped out today, and I didn't use anything. I put my phone in my back pocket, and a note in my back pocket, and the inevitable happened. I kept on pulling out the note when I pulled out my phone or my keys from my back pocket. So this one here is going to go in my jeans back pocket, and then when I drop it, well, I won't get my phone in there, will I? That'll have to go in the other one. But if I do drop it, I'll know, and then I can pop a note and a card in it, and that will be good. So yeah, it's brilliant. Hi, Penny. Penny's just joined us. It's lovely to have you. And Lynn is saying hi, Elaine. So hello, Lynn and Elaine. And then what we want to do, so I've just popped a pin either side there, you see. So that's the small pocket. I know it's difficult to see when it's on the same fabric, but that's the small pocket there. And then the large pocket goes over the top. Now, you're telling me, I can hear you shouting, that's the wrong way around, but it's not. It's not the wrong way around at all. And you will see in a minute why it's not. So I've removed the pins, and I've just put a pin either side. So if I turn this back, you've got the small pocket next to the outer fabric, and then you've got the larger pocket on top of the small pocket. And what we're going to do now is baste it 1/4 inch just above the pocket, all the way down, all the way across, and all the way back up to just above the pocket. So from there, down, across, and just up. Can you see that? All right. So I'm going to put it under the machine again. So I'll bring in the machine for you, so you can watch what I'm doing. And we're just basting all the way down. So I'm going to start on this side and go all the way around. So start just above the pocket. I'm still on a stitch of 3 because that's all it needs at this time. It's just basting. All right. So go to within about 1/8 inch at the bottom. Make it less than 1/4. My fabric wants to move because it's a bit shiny, but I'm not going to let it. And then turn, and then we're going up the side. If your fabric moves a little bit, don't worry about it, because what we will do is we'll trim this off. It's a purse, it doesn't have to fit anybody. So don't worry if yours is a little bit smaller or a little bit larger, it really doesn't matter. And if you want to alter the size, then you can do that. So you see we've basted there now, so those pockets are not going to go anywhere when we stitch it all together. So that's that. Is there anybody stitching along? Hi, Dawn. Oh, Carol, don't worry about being late. It's absolutely fine. You can catch up. And Violet's a little bit late. Don't worry about that. I was dead on time tonight, and that's unusual for me. I'm usually a minute or 2 late because I'm fiddling about. And then we had to start again. So don't even ask about that if you weren't there. So is there anybody sewing along tonight? Diana's sewing along. I thought you might be Diana. And Cheryl's sewing along. That's lovely. So I'm hoping that you've got, I mean, you're quicker than me probably. I'm hoping that you've got this far because, yeah, there's hardly anything much left to do. All right. So if Cheryl and it is lovely fabric, Abby. I know, it's so pretty, isn't it? Had this for rather a long time. I don't quite know where I got it from, but had it a long time. And when I looked today, I thought I had a small piece, and it was folded. I've got a huge piece, and I've used some of it. So there we go. So that's the outer. That's sorted. This is the lining. I'm going to put the lining right sides together with the outer. And you can see with this, my cutting's been so accurate, it doesn't quite fit, but I'm not going to worry about that. So if yours is the same, make your lining fit at the bottom there where you've just basted. I'm going to put a clip on there so it doesn't ride up. And you will notice that I'm a little bit out here at the top, but not going to worry about that because we are going to put our template, our paper template on there, and we're going to draw around it. So I'm going to put that on the top of the lining fabric, only because it's lighter. Doesn't really matter which one you put it on top of. Oh, that's one of the dogs trying to get in the room. And I'm just going to clip that because we've got a few layers now. It's easier to clip than it is to pin. Okay, so we've put the lining right side down to the outer, and then we've put the paper template on top of the lining. So what we've got here is some bits sticking out. So, and don't worry that that doesn't match. If your cutting's as bad as mine, it really doesn't matter. And even if you've got to trim a tiny bit off there, it doesn't matter, but don't trim it at the moment. I'm going to put it down on the desk now for you to have a look. Because I can't draw around it otherwise. So what we're going to do at this stage is just draw around those corners. Now, if you don't want to use the paper template, you can actually use a ribbon spool or something like that, and you can make your corners any shape you want to. This is just maybe for those who haven't done this sort of thing before, because we do often get some beginners who you know, not quite sure how close to put a spool to the corner or whatever, and this will make sure that you get it nice and neat. Okay, so when we take the paper template off, leave all the rest together, but just take that paper template off. Put your clips back on. So there you can see that I have those corners rounded off, and you can see what's happened there. This outer is a little bit longer, but we are going to sew from here all the way up at 1/4 of an inch and 1/4 of an inch inside those. So we're going to sew 1/4 of an inch all the way around. So this excess bit at the top is going to be trimmed off anyway. So that's our next step. From here, or from here, doesn't matter, all the way around, 1/4 of an inch seam allowance, and do 1/4 of an inch inside this, because this corner and this corner are going to be cut off. So don't do 1/4 of an inch outside, it's 1/4 of an inch from this inside. So we're actually sewing on this dotted line. Don't worry that that's not 1/4 of an inch there, it will sort itself out. Okay, so if you want to draw yourself a line, draw yourself a line. Or if you're confident that you can do it by eye, then that's absolutely fine. Or do like I do and use your 1/4 of an inch foot, or at least move your needle. Okay, so I'm going to move my needle so it's in the right place. And I'm going to start at the bottom here and go all the way around. So because this is a seam that's holding everything together, I'd forgotten to say I'm going to turn my stitch length down to my normal 2.5. And because I'm going to follow the lining, because it seems like the outer is a little bit askew, Then I'm going to put the edge of my needle here. Can you see that? This edge of my needle, so the inside edge, I'm going to put that on the, I'm going to follow the lining rather than the outer piece. And then I'm just going to take it slowly round the corner. If you need to lift up your foot every couple of stitches to go round the corner nice and smoothly, do that. It's a good thing to do. All the way along the top. I haven't done 1/4 of an inch there because it's a little bit shorter, but don't worry about that. Make sure that's nice and lined up. Give it a little back stitch at the bottom, and you will notice, and it says very distinctly in the pattern, not to sew along the bottom. Do not sew along the bottom edge, because you will notice that you do not have a turning gap otherwise. I'm going to pop that out of the way for a second. And so that's what we've got. So we've got sewn all the way around, and this is just left on. So what I'm going to do now is to, should have grabbed this earlier, I'm so sorry, is to grab my pinking shears, and I'm going to give that a good old trim all the way around. I think one of the dogs has learned how to knock the door. So trim all the way around, and that will help then with turning it through to get a lovely shape at that end. And then with my scissors, which I don't know where I've put now, oh, there it is, trim off your threads back and front, make it nice and neat. And with the scissors, I'm going to take a little bit of the bulk off there. So just for about 3/4 of an inch, I tend to do it at an angle, so you can see that's at an angle, going in a little bit smoother towards the stitching. And the same on that side. Okay, so there you have it. So that's what you're looking at. I'm going to give those seams a little bit of a press, get rid of my, you'll be surprised how giving it a press actually stops all that the potential puckering. So now what we're going to do is we're going to put our fingers between the lining and the pockets, and we're going to turn it through. Goodness me, we're only on 7:30. It's a good job I got a fair bit to talk to you about afterwards. How's everybody doing? Oh, Melby, you managed to find me again. Yeah, I hadn't gone anywhere. I was here all the time. Oh dear. Let's have a little look for my pokey tool. So you want those seams to be really rounded. So give it a good old push out from the inside, those seams, and get them nice and rounded. And you're going to say, so there I have my purse. You're going to say to me, well, the pockets are on the outside. Well, yes, they are, because I put them on the outside. But in order to get them on the inside, all I have to do is turn them through. So fingers between the outer and the 2 pockets. Pop your fingers in there and push them through. And then all of a sudden, we have our pockets on our lining. And we have them so that the smaller pocket is in the front and the larger pocket is at the back. This is probably, this bit here, poking these out so that they're nice and square, is probably the most difficult bit of it all. And if you can't do it with your pokey tool, because that's possibly a little bit blunt on the end, I've got my what do you call it, a screwdriver here. But very, very gently, you can use a pin. So I've got one of my stronger pins. You can see I've used this before because it is bent. And I'm just going to pop it in between those two bits there and just tease those out a little bit. So you want those corners really as square as you can make them. But it's a purse, don't forget. It does make it nice and neat, but if they're rounded, it's obviously what you intended. So I know now that you're going to say to me, well, inside there we have raw edges. You see, that's inside the pocket. Now, you can either leave them like that, but what I'm going to do is give this a press, and then we're going to top stitch. We're just going to top stitch along the bottom. We're not going to top stitch down these sides or over the pockets, so that's why I'm going to give them a press. To press it all. Roll your seams out so that your lining doesn't show on the outside, because that then makes it look very professional. But if it does, and anybody mentions it, show them the door. Lovely quick little make. Yes, it is, Cindy. It is a very quick make. So, Maggie's asking how Frank is. He's doing well. He's growing up. He's a big boy, and he's doing fine. The other one of my dogs hasn't been very well, but she's doing very well as well now. So what we're going to do to get rid of those raw edges in the pocket, so that you don't lose your coins if you're going to put any in there, through to, they won't go anywhere, but they might go through to the lining. We're going to top stitch along here. So this is quite bulky, so I'm going to put a leader in so that I can get over the bulk. If your machine doesn't like much bulk, go slowly, turn your stitch length up. I've got mine on 3, you can even go to 3.5, because that then will stop it skipping stitches where the bulk is. And use a leader so that it doesn't disappear down in your machine or doesn't stutter. In fact, I am going to turn that stitch length up a little bit. Okay. So all I'm going to do at this point is to top stitch along the bottom. All right, that's not very good, is it? Because it's not very sturdy. That's better. So follow with your foot along, and I'm doing one tiny back stitch at the beginning. And using that leader has really helped so that it doesn't stutter. One tiny back stitch at the end, and there we have our top stitching. So can you see? And then I'm just going to chop off my leader. Now I know you're going to say to me that those corners aren't square. They're as good as I can get, and as I'm not perfect, I don't expect them to be perfect. If you can do a lovely square corner, that's great, but it really doesn't matter because they're the same both sides, so I'm happy with that. Just get rid of my little threads because I'm not happy with those. Now what we're going to do, we've top stitched along the pockets, we've top stitched along the bottom, and what we're going to do now is top stitch from here all the way round, but I am going to do it on the outside because this is going to fold over like that, and so we will see more of the stitching from the outside. So don't go below the pockets. If you want to put yourself a little mark, then you can do that. I'm going to get my black pen, and I'm going to feel my pocket, and there's my pocket there. So I don't want to go down any further than that. Now I don't think you can see that, but I can, and you'll be able to see yours. So we're just going to top stitch from that area all the way around to this bit. All right, and then that will make it nice and neat. Just go slowly because obviously you do have a bend. I'm going to put my needle down first to make sure I'm not over my pocket, and there we go. So I've left it on the 3.25 stitch, and I'm going to go all the way around. The corners are going to be a little more tricky because it's on a long stitch, so just go slowly. You don't have to have it on a long stitch if you don't want to and you find it tricky. There we go, around the second corner. And I'm just going to find my stiletto and put that on the black mark that I made, so I know that I'm not to go any further than that. One little back stitch. There we go. Now on the outside, of course, I'm going to put that away now because we finished with that. On the outside, of course, you can hardly see that. I think in the light you can see that it's a very light purple. But on the inside, you can see it. So we don't want any hiccups on the inside. I've got a little bit of a bird's nest, but I'm going to get rid of that. And then all that remains for us to do is to put the poppers on. So there are our threads gone. I'm going to press that again. Really does help if you press at every stage on this. Really does help. There we go. My threads are all sticking to it. The cleaner's in tomorrow. That's Neil. So they can go on the floor. And then when you fold this over, there's the top of the pocket, and I fold it over about 1/2 inch. So that you've got anything sticking out a little bit above the pocket, and you don't want this to go all the way down to the bottom because that looks a bit silly. So just about 1/2 inch, and then I'm going to give it a little bit of a press again. And all that remains for us to do is to put on our poppers. My one little bit nearly did a wheelie off the desk there. So, but we've got those. Aren't we doing well? It's 20 to 8. So if you want to do 2 poppers either side, you can. I'm just going to do one in the middle. I've done one in the middle here, and it holds it nice and secure, no problem. And I quite liked the same colour on there. I put a purple one on, and you couldn't see it, but as we're sparkly and cold and chilly, I'm going to put the blue one on. So we decide where we want it. Now, I always think, well, I want to make sure that it goes in the same place so that this isn't sort of twisted or whatever. So I'm going to measure up from there about 1/2 inch, maybe 5/8 of an inch, and I'm going to measure in from the sides and pop it in the middle. So I'm going to go about there. Now if you want to just eyeball that, you can. And I'm going to make a hole with this. Now just be really careful of this side that you don't have your fingers, so put that either side. And then on the outside, on the flap, we're obviously having the disc, if you like, up that way. Usually I have the little rubber ring, I call it, on that one. And then before I actually squish it down, I'm going to put it there, and I'm going to make a little indentation. Now you can't see that, but I can see exactly where that goes so that I know it's accurate. And then the bit that you want to, she said, yeah, there. The bit that you want to make sure of is that you don't go through the 2 pockets for very obvious reasons. So I'm going to make another hole there, and this time our disc needs to go in at the back. I know you can't see this, but you'll see it in a second. Alright, so can you see that? On the flap the disc is at the front, and on the pocket the disc is inside this first pocket, not in through both. So you can see that there. Okay, then I put the top hat, that's what I call it. I have rubber rings and top hats. They don't go together, but they do in this case. And then we're just going to apply our, I don't know who's making more noise, the dog's barking or Neil going shh. So give that a good squish. That's not going anywhere. Then take it in your pocket. Make sure that that disc there is in the cup. So give it a little twist round and you know it's in the right place, and then give it a squish. And then when you fold it over, it will be perfect. Well, look at that. We are done at 20 to 8. What does it say on my computer? Because I think my clock is in the wrong place. Yeah, 20 to 8, 41 minutes past 8. So what do you think? Do you have any tips for putting on poppers? Well, yes. I think what you have to do is to make sure that when you put, where did I put my thing? There it is. When you put your popper in, you don't make the hole too big. That's for a start. So it's a good idea to use that. Or if you're going to use a hole punch, I know Lizzie uses a hole punch, but she uses a small hole. It's not a big hole because we want this to sort of stay in place. And then when you're actually squishing this in your popper applicator, I don't know what it's called, your press, I just do it very loosely and then I give it a little twist, because then you know that that disc under there, I don't know whether you can see it, you see the disc under there, it needs to go in that cup, and if it's not sitting correctly in that cup, then the inside will be squishy. When you squish it, the inside will be wonky. So, and then give it a two-handed press. I always do, because what happens is, let me show you. What happens with a popper, I don't know if anybody, some of you will have put loads of poppers in, and then somebody may not have put a popper in because they're a bit afraid of it. But what you've got is, you've got a disc there, and it's got a spike on it. And then what you can see there is a disc is on that side. The spike has gone through what I called the rubber ring. And the squisher, this thing, squishes down this bit. I'll waste one of these and show you. So if I put that in my disc, and you can imagine the fabric in between, if you press on that, you see that will have gone, it's squished down. So it squishes the plastic spike, if you like, and that's what keeps it in place. So when you put this on, you really do need, I mean, because there's no fabric there, that's gone a bit skew-iff, but your fabric will help, but make sure it's really in the dish. And then the same thing here. If you have to fold the fabric, that's fine. If it was further in, make sure it's in the dish, give it a little twist, and then give that a good squish. And those are my top tips for putting in poppers. Easy. Once you've done a couple and you've got them right, you'll know exactly what to do. Well, I've dented lots of them, so they don't, but 99 times out of 100 that will go in really well once you've had a little bit of practice. It's like anything else, isn't it? It's just practice. So there we have sparkle, and yeah, so a credit card, a £20 note, that in one pocket of your jeans, your phone in your other pocket, and you're good to go. Or for somebody's little extra Christmas present, or for a child's, do it in children's fabric for their birthday, for Christmas, whatever. All my 4 grandchildren have got their birthdays, well, 3 of them last week, 1 of them this week, and so they always have money for one present or the other, because that's what they like to have. They're of that age now, so wouldn't that be lovely to pop it in there? Let's put the camera back up so you can see all of me again. Somebody said I looked like I was very close to the camera, but I'm not. I must have just grown. Oh dear. So there we have sparkle. I hope you like it. I hope you want to make loads of them. I'm going to make a few more for Christmas presents, and thank you, Sarah. Sarah says sparkle's lovely. So yeah, Julie's going to go and have a little practice. Yeah, do practice, because it's like anything else. It's just practice, and that's that. Okay, so I'm not going to take 15 minutes to talk to you, but I've got a couple of little bits that I just wanted to tell you about. So if any one of you, if you're not a member of the gold group, then I'm sorry, you're not going to understand probably what I'm going to say now. So please do forgive me while I just say to all the other ones, if you're looking at platinum versus gold and gold versus platinum and what do I do and how do I do it, the only thing I'm going to say is that Lizzy is going to do a full explanation, answer all your questions and everything on Thursday. So I know lots of people have been wondering and posting on Facebook and things like that, and I know we've had lots of messages that I've been trying to answer as well. But if you've got any questions, hang on until Thursday. There's a post anyway pinned in the gold group, so you'll be able to have a look at that. If you've got any questions, hang on until Thursday, and if your questions are not answered, then give us a shout. But all will become very, very clear if it's not already on Thursday. So that's that sorted about. Okay, so for all of you concerned, just to let you know that Dulcie, the draw up circle bag, has anybody found it yet? Has anybody noticed it there? I'll bring it down, show you. This is a pattern that is an older pattern, and we've rewritten it, and so it's had a new launch on the website. I shall show you again properly tomorrow when I do another Facebook Live, which is something that I'll tell you about in a minute. So this is Dulcie. She is a circle. Sorry, you can't see it at the moment. I'm just undoing the bows. And she is a circle bag, so I'll hold it up. So this is Dulcie becoming all undone. Okay? And when you open it right out, it's a complete circle. And inside has got a little zip, and there's a secret pocket on the inside. Okay? This is a lovely little pocket, a circular pocket on the inside. And I've got a different one to this that I made a couple of years ago when Lizzy did a Zoom workshop, and I absolutely loved it. And all my makeup sits in there, and then you just open it out and your makeup is flat on the table for you to use, and then you just pull it together, draw it up. That's why it's called a draw up circle bag. And your contents are all safe, they don't come out. So I'm sorry, I'm just trying to look to see what I'm doing here, bear with me. I know you can see the top of my head. And so then when you draw it up, that's not done very quickly, but very tidily, but draw it up, it becomes a lovely little bag again. So it's quite handy. All my makeup goes in there, so it's really quite good. Yes, it's very clever, Sandra, and it's a lovely pattern. So I've rewritten the pattern, just amended slightly, made another one for you and put some more up-to-date photos on, and that's now on the website at a reduced price for you. The next thing that I need to tell you is about a round of robins, but to my shame, I cannot find my robins that I made. They were something that was released last year, and the pattern has been released again this year. Well, yes, I think it was a Mid-Month Madness pattern in the gold group last year. So it's been released to general public now. It's on the website, and yes, I think you can see my lavender heart, Denise. Very strategically placed. Don't know which hand to use. This one. That's my Dee gave me a lovely little lavender heart that she made. Yeah, see me, I'm going round in circles. So yeah, thank you very much for that. It's lovely. So I thought I'd pop it up there for you to see. Yes, so I can't find my robins, but the pattern is on the website. It's a pattern for 4 different sizes, and so it's a tree decoration or a hanging decoration, a small one. Then the next one is a pattern weight. The next one up is a pin cushion, and the next one up is a doorstop. So have a look at that pattern. I can't show them to you. I'm going to try and see if I can make one tomorrow to show you what it's like, because they're absolutely gorgeous. And that's at an introductory price as well. So have a look on the website for that. Okay. If you want the digital pass for your Mims, instead of paying £1 for each one, you'll only pay £3. That's available to you on the website as well. For the next couple of days, the November one will be available as well. So if you haven't bought any of the Mims and you really want to get this one and a couple of the others, you can pay £3 and you can have all. Okay, no brainer, no brainer. So the December one is now available. So if you want to get that for next month, you can do. Obviously, if you're in the gold group, you don't need to get that, because if you're in the gold group, your Mims are included. That's all I'm going to say. Tomorrow I will be here again at 7 o'clock in the evening, UK time, and I will be showing you Kathy. Now, I don't know where she's gone. I don't know where she's gone. I think she's in the other room. So if you can bear with me, do you want me to fetch Kathy and show you? If anyone says yes, I'll go and find it. And then you can have a look at the things behind me for 2 minutes while I go and find it. I can't see anybody saying yes at the moment. Oh, thank you, Gemma, for putting on those links. That's fabulous. So if anybody wants me to show you Kathy, I will go and fetch it. Or otherwise, you can have a look on the website and you can have a look at Kathy. Dot says yes, she'd like to see Kathy. So yeah, a couple of you saying, so bear with me 2 seconds. Have a look at what's going on behind me. I've not finished, don't talk. Well, shame on me. I can't find her. I don't know where she's gone. If you could see my other room, well, don't go there. I have no idea where she's gone, except that I had it yesterday. But anyway, what I'm going to do instead is just describe what she is. She's a lovely shopper. There's, it's a more complex pattern, but I'd like you to have a look at it. It's a pattern that I designed for celebrating when I first started working for Lizzy on a formal basis rather than just doing patterns. We launched it that weekend and it's been a huge success. Thank you, Gemma, again for putting that link on so you can have a look at the photo. It's been a huge success, and so tomorrow night will be a little bit more preparation for me, because I'm never going to make it all in an hour and I want you to see the finished item. But I will give you a sneak preview of the fabrics that I'm going to use. Kathy's done in faux leather. You don't have to do it in faux leather. If you want to do it in canvas, you can. If you want to do it in cotton, you can. The only thing that I will say is that if you decide to do it in cotton and you've got the pattern, have a look at the pattern and choose a stronger stabilizer. That's all I can tell you about that, because it's all on the pattern. So if you haven't got the pattern, pop along to the website, because I shall be making it tomorrow. And if you want to make one, then it's available on the website. So these are the fabrics that I'm using. So this is a beautiful, you can see it shining, a beautiful shiny silver faux leather. And this is a navy blue. And then I'm not going to show you what I'm putting inside. That'll be a surprise. But she's got pockets. 2 pockets on the inside, so a couple of zips to do, so don't be afraid. We'll go through that step by step, and that will be tomorrow night's demonstration for you and tutorials. So yeah, lots of skills to look at. I'll get all prepared, and so if it does go over the hour, I'll try and be as quick as I can, and then you can decide whether you want me to finish it or what you want me to do. All right, so that's tomorrow night. I think that's all my announcements. If there's no questions, if anybody hasn't anything else that they want me to talk about, then I'm going to leave you early, so you can have a little bit of a rest, because I'm going to be encroaching on your device, wherever that might be, or on your television or whatever, again tomorrow night if you choose me to. So thank you for watching. Be great watching faux leather. Is never short in stitching it, and I have quite a bit. Well, that's good. So watch us tomorrow then, Jeanette, and we'll go through that. You don't need to have any different needles, anything like that. You just need to be careful and take it slow and increase your stitches. So we'll go through all that tomorrow, and I look forward to having your company. So you've got me a lot, haven't you, this week? Last Thursday, tonight, tomorrow. Goodness me, you'll be complaining to management next. So I'm going to head off. I've yet to have my tea. So I'm going to head off and have my tea. Thank you all for joining me. It's been great. I've really enjoyed making these two little things for you. They're just perfect. I love them. So I've got a few to make now for the grandchildren and everything. So you take care. Enjoy the rest of your evening. Have a lovely day tomorrow, and hopefully, fingers crossed, if you can make it, I'll see you tomorrow night. Bye bye, everybody. Take care. Bye for now.